I've recently said that I think the Kindle Scribe is the best e-ink tablet for reading. Well, it's certainly the best Kindle. If you're totally happy with the Kindle library, I'd suggest it's the one to go. But it isn't going to be the best for everyone, because not everyone's particular reading use case is the same. I've got 4 of the best brands of e-ink tablet here to compare with you, with a specific focus on their abilities as readers. This is the Kindle Scribe, and it represents Kindle, but of course you could go smaller and go for instance, this is the Kindle Paperwhite, excellent reader. The Remarkable here, and they only make the Remarkable 2 tablet, that's all they make. Quite limited in its reading capabilities, but does have some useful features. The Supernote, which is more designed for writers, but you can actually access Kindle books here on the Supernote. And the Boox platform, and this is the Boox Tab Ultra, but you could go even smaller. You could go for an A6 Boox device, which is the Nova Air. It's a great choice for an all-round reader, or even down to something without a pen input, like the Leaf. This is the Leaf 2. Or you can go up to a full-size Boox tablet. This is their A4 device, the Boox Tab X. And this is fantastic for certain types of reading. But you're probably not going to want to take that to the beach or read that in bed. So let's start with professional reading, because this is the choice if you want a professional reader. If you need to read professional documents and literature, then I would suggest an A4 tablet is an excellent choice. And this is the latest iteration of A4 tablet from Boox. It's fantastic. You can actually see the script that I'm working on in my knowledge management app, X-Tiles. It's absolutely fabulous. It's the choice for professional documents and literature because of its size, but let's presume that you're going to buy that if you need A4 reading. So we're going to mainly focus on the A5 tablets today. And no, I don't think that the Boox A6 device is going to really handle a professional type document as well as this A4 device will. Although the Boox article mode will help you manage them if you need to read them on this small device. The Boox Neo Reader app is certainly the choice for reading of any PDF on any device at all. Here it is looking great. Now I've picked this one. This is something I've got to read for school, which is about using tech in the classroom. And you can see it looks absolutely fabulous on this full-size A4 document. You can even go ahead and crop, and it will automatically crop to the edges of the written page. And now you can see it's more than comfortable to read this slightly larger than it would be on an A4 sheet of paper. Isn't that fabulous? And if even this wasn't good enough, now you can go into article mode and have it read one column at a time. So we'll go for navigation, then article mode, and now I can see where it's automatically guessed 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to go through in that order. And this will allow you to actually read this size of document. It will work just as well on an A5 device or an A6 device itself. So it scans down the column, orientate where the actual center point of that is. And as you can see now, it's going to scan down the column, and that will help you to fit a larger document like this on a smaller screen. It's a fabulous way. But of course, here we just need to go to a normal view, because now we have a full A4 size screen, and we can annotate on that as well. Very, very useful for reading of professional documents. So the Remarkable and the Supernote are okay for reading professional documents. They're okay for reading PDFs. They do have pinch to zoom, and that works perfectly fine. And also now they have landscape mode, which is a better way if you need to read a full-size A4 document. Now it is at the correct sort of size, and you can navigate through your PDFs like this. And of course, you can also annotate on top of the PDFs here on Remarkable, and you can do that on the Supernote as well. There's no automatic rotation though. Recent updates have improved them a little bit, but I still think that we're not in a perfect situation. It's still a little bit of a mess of scaling, and when you do turn that page, it's just not seamless. Again, you can do a landscape view, which is going to allow you to read PDFs. But both of these tablets essentially stop at the PDF. PDFs are really sort of as far as you can go in terms of reading. You can do EPUB on here as well, but generally you're going to be limited to putting PDFs here via an app, via the cloud, because you don't actually even have a browser where you can go and grab them and download them directly from the internet, which is how I tend to find my PDFs and put them here onto a Boox device. And once again, that whole article mode here on the A5 device is just absolutely fantastic. And I haven't even mentioned the way that the Boox Neo Reader handles annotations and scribbles, which are absolutely fabulous. Here's that same document we were looking at on the Tab X. Let's go into article mode here. Can just one time to get them just right. And now you can see I'm scanning down and then across into the next page, down one column, across to the next. Now it hasn't handled the facing pages all that well, so you might need occasionally to do a little, it does actually handle that quite well. See, now it's worked it out. And now we're into a table, so we'll need to come out of that article mode. You go reset to go back to the full screen view. You can of course do top and bottom as well, which that will work quite well. Especially if you now rotate the device. With its automatic rotation, it's just a better platform for reading and handling PDFs. And this is probably the way that you'll best use A4 size PDFs on this tablet. Again though, it depends on what you class as professional reading and what you need to read professionally, because I'm getting a lot of use out of the Kindle in terms of some professional learning that I've been wanting to do recently. It's all the way at the end of my way back in time in terms of what I read on Kindle during my life with it. But you can see I've got some lesson planning things here, Difficult Conversations in Schools, which is an excellent book. So much choice, by the way, in Kindle Unlimited, and things like this Rosenshine's document, which is a very short book, but actually has got some very useful implementation in which you can get the most out of simply by using the X-ray, or, well, I haven't been able to do it on this one, but the popular highlights feature certainly is a fantastic feature for moving around and finding the most important bits that other people have found. And so you can actually work through some professional literature quite quickly and get the benefits of that. So again, it depends. If you're looking for A4 PDFs, then the Boox platform is going to be the one for you. If the type of professional learning that you do is only really published to very specialist libraries in A4 PDFs, then I would suggest stick with the Boox platform. It's fantastic for that type of reading, especially if you need to annotate on it and use those notes and import them into different places elsewhere. Fabulous. But if you need stuff which is actually published into Kindle, into that kind of more popular publishing strands, then it's an excellent place to read. And using the notes function within the Kindle Scribe, so you can highlight, add a note, add a handwritten note, and that's a great way to do it. So what about if you like reading more sort of self-improvement type of books, learning new skills types of books? Well, actually there's a wealth published to those on Kindle and on Audible, and if I'm honest, this is the type of book that I like to listen to on my commute, because I get to work at the start of the day and I can put those things into action straight away in my work day. And you can actually do that from the Kindle Scribe, you can do it from the Kindle Paperwhite, you can do it from a Kindle app on your phone, and of course you can do it from the Kindle app on the Boox as well. So let's not forget that the kind of sleeper feature of Boox is that it is actually an excellent Kindle as well. You can't do that on the Supernote or the Remarkable, not as well. You do have a Kindle app on the Supernote, but you won't be able to Bluetooth to headphones to make use of the Audible link as well. It's a pretty basic implementation of an app. I think it might be an old Android app, because you can still actually buy through that app, which is something that you're not allowed to do on the later Amazon Kindle app update. But certainly I find an absolute wealth of content to learn from on Kindle. But of course there are other apps available, other libraries available. For instance, Readly has an absolutely wonderful set of books that you can learn from. It's just where do you want to put that £10 subscription really, in terms of which library do you use. And Boox will let you access those apps. For instance, Scribe. maybe Scribe might be your one and done instead of needing a Kindle Unlimited subscription and an Audible subscription and a Prime subscription. Why are all my recommendations got swear words in them? Cool, I'm definitely going to give this a go. So there's loads of options there, but I would say leading the reading so far are going to be the Kindle and the Boox platform. For leisure reading, certainly the Kindle has got this one down, and for leisure reading I wouldn't go for something this size. I would go for probably the Kindle Paperwhite. The Signature Edition is a fantastic e-reader. It's got a wonderful screen, absolutely brilliant tablet this is. Absolutely brilliant reader. The way they handle battery life, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. But I wouldn't discount the Boox for that as well, because in a not too much larger form factor, you can actually have pen input as well, and you can enjoy reading side by side as well. So you've got a little bit of a best of both worlds here with the Boox Nova Air. A little bit more expensive, of course. You do have pen input as well, and you can access the Kindle app, or you can switch to a different library if you think you're finished with Kindle Unlimited. Or of course you can go to the Boox Leaf size as well, or the Kindle Oasis is another great choice if you need to read in the bath or near a pool or on the beach. Great choice. I guess you could access just about every library on here, apart from perhaps the Apple Books library, which I would suggest is probably locked down to the Apple Store. The nice thing about this, with any library at all, you can always go into split screen and you can have a notebook next to whatever it is that you're reading. Absolutely big fan of this. I am a big fan of the Nova Air series. I wasn't when I first got hold of one, but I am a much bigger fan now because of this function. And it really does, if you're someone who's going to read a lot, it really can fit in well for all different types of reading. There's a bit of a nuisance in that for the Kindle app, you actually can't buy books on the app, and that's not Boox's fault though. It's because Kindle don't want to pay Google's sort of fee for everything that's sold in a Android app. I haven't talked about the Remarkable and Supernote much so far in this video because they are likely to be tablets that you're going to discount on account of one thing which is sorely missing from both of them, which is a front light or any type of light at all. So you're not going to be able to read on these in low light conditions. So if you like snuggling down with a read, then you're going to find that the lack of front lights is going to stop you doing that entirely on these two devices. They're more professional reading based, although that didn't stop readers for thousands of years like Lincoln and Churchill from getting the most out of reading. They didn't need front lights. No paper book comes with a front light built in as well, so why not go for one that does, now that we are in the 21st century. It's definitely a feature to make sure you have bicolor lights, which I'm pretty sure across the entire range of Boox devices and now across all the Kindles, they have warm and cold lights for reading at night. You want that warmer light. It's definitely a feature to make sure that your tablet of choice has. Next is newspapers and magazine subscriptions. Now again, you're probably going to discount these two devices for that reason, the Remarkable and the Supernote, because the only real way to get a magazine onto here will be to send it over as a PDF, so in which case you'd have to own the PDF of the magazine every single month and put it across. It's not going to be a great experience for that. Although that being said, the Kindle app in here will allow you to read any magazine subscriptions that you have, or anything in the Unlimited that you have will allow you to read it within that Kindle app. But I did have a little look at a couple of subscriptions here on Kindle, for instance, and did a trial of The Economist. I'm going to enjoy reading a few articles on this Economist while I've got the free trial at least, but £15 a month, it might be a bit of a hard sell for that, but it's not to blame the Kindle on that. Although, as soon as I bought this, I noticed on the website here that it says that effective 6th of March, which is today, Amazon is no longer selling Kindle magazine subscriptions. It just sold me one today. So I don't know whether the free trial is going to work and then it won't allow me to do that. However, there are lots of magazines within the Kindle Unlimited subscription, which is something that I have and do think is very good value. So there's lots of choice there. That's an interesting one to look out for. And then magazine wise on the Boox, I've already shown them a little bit, but Scribe and Readly are the two kind of platforms that people go for. Again, I've got the trial here. You've got the Guardian as a magazine here. It looks really good. You can refresh on demand, or probably it's going to be imbalanced, but actually for article reading, you might want to stick in the HD mode. It's going to look really good. Doesn't that look great? Balance mode is a good way to go on this device in general though. And of course, Readly as well is another good option. It doesn't look so good because it's got this black background. I don't know if there's a way to change that in settings. Doesn't seem like it, but when you're actually in the magazine itself, wow, that's great, right? No, but it does look great. So both look absolutely amazing. There's no doubt that the 300 dot per inch does look great. But there's no on-demand refresh that I can really just clean that up. I'm still getting the ghosting from the previous page. Kindle is not making the most out of the incredible technology that it has. Books, however, looks great. Okay, so that's magazine reading. For web articles, well, this is just an absolute no-go on the Kindle. It does have a web browser, but that is basically unusable. It's also not easy to navigate around all of the content that's available on Kindle. It's okay for whatever your latest reads are and picking up where you left off, etc. It's okay for that kind of focus thing, but it isn't good for finding new things all the time. It's good for it recommending you things, but it isn't good for finding new things. Now it does look better, I'm told, in article mode, but it's still not perfect. I wonder if they've got better since. Let's have a look at BBC. No. So I'm gonna hate looking at the news, seeing this article come up quite a lot at times. And it's not even possible, it's not worth me talking about web reading really on the Supernote. It's not really possible, except if you were to save a page as a PDF from a computer and import it on, that would be fine. Remarkable does have one really nice feature, which is read on Remarkable. So there's a plugin here on Chrome and it just pops up and appears as a web page really quickly, incidentally. It says it's syncing. Sync completed. Here it is, Kindle Store on Amazon, and it formats it, although it's found nothing that it really wanted to consider as being the article, I think there. It does actually do a good job of formatting web articles as web pages here on the Kindle. I've got this one, for instance, which is a research series, which is an Ofsted HTML, and I've used that and gone through and annotated that at length. I like the way that you can look through that then as a sort of book now here on the Remarkable. Yeah, so that read on Remarkable function is quite useful, and you can see where you've annotated and where you haven't. But of course, you can do that as well here on the Boox, and you can convert it to a PDF directly here on the Boox, which is what I've done just today. Let's go find it. So certainly you have to know your way around an Android file system to be able to get the most out of it. But here directly on the device, I've been able to go to the web page and print off that as a PDF and save it onto the device. And now I have a PDF document of that web page, which I can annotate to my heart's content and do all of the useful things like, well, I can even visit the footnotes, no doubt, as their web pages at Chrome. And I can go ahead, once I've got a bunch of annotations, they will all show up here in my contents page, and I'll be able to export just the annotations or just the pages I've scribbled on. There's just so much to like about this, and that is the same set of features for all of the reading on the Boox device. So for reading on the web on Eink, it's going to be a Boox device. Again, maybe the larger A4 device would be fantastic on that. That's exactly what I'm doing through this, using my script that I've written here on a web page essentially. I've got it in full desktop viewing mode. It's a desktop browser experience on an Eink tablet. It's great for reading the web, and because these have got these new GPUs, the experience of reading the web has just got even better on Boox. So some conclusions about reading then. Firstly, cost versus benefit. The best reader out of all these we've looked at is undoubtedly the Scribe. Just for reading, the Scribe is an absolute fantastic tablet for that. It's the only one with a 300 dot per inch screen, and I haven't really talked about that in this particular comparison, but that is something that is really important to mention about the Kindle Scribe. It's the latest technology from Eink, and most people think that they have like an exclusive deal on that. I'm sure we'll see 300 dots per inch screens from the other manufacturers. I just think it's a matter of time, and I'm sure Boox will do a fantastic job with that 300 dot per inch screen as well. Right now, it's the best screen, it's a well-lit screen as well, and it's a pleasure to read on. It's also pretty much the cheapest of the bunch as well. So you're buying into that new technology at one of the lowest prices. We can also consider the Remarkable is pretty much as cheap as the Scribe now, but this is 3 or 4 year old tech at this point. But it's not a reader. The Supernote is a better reader than the Remarkable, but again, it's not really a reader. And so the decision comes down to really, are you happy with the Kindle as your sole reading platform? Because if you're not happy with the Kindle as the sole reading platform, then you're going to want to go for the Boox as your e-ink tablet for reading. If you just need Kindle or you just need PDF, you can go with either the Supernote or the Remarkable. And the question for you is going to be whether you're going to do enough with these other libraries to make it worth the jump in price from the Kindle up to the Boox device. It is going to be almost double to buy the Boox Tab Ultra right now, and almost triple to get the larger screen device. And let's not forget though that the Kindle platform itself is really a place for you to actually spend more money, and you can see all these recommendations, some of which are in the Kindle Unlimited, and I tend to go for those as a preference because I have subscribed to Kindle Unlimited and I do think it is good value. But let's not forget that this is designed to help you spend more money. So although on the face of it it's cheaper, you don't have access to a completely free bunch of books for free libraries. But there are plenty of free book libraries, including the Boox bookstore, which has got plenty of choice if you're happy to read things which are just copyright free because they are that old. They're classics for a reason. I could certainly read for the rest of my life things that are just out of print. Of course, you can carry on spending money, and well, I've just entered into 2 new subscriptions here, for at least the trial version here, so you can spend a lot of money on things like this Readly, but it isn't so upfront and isn't so integral a part of the device either. And next is about how easy they are to read on, and there's no doubt the easiest to use of the readers is going to be the Kindle. The Remarkable is a little but not a lot more complex in terms of its reading functionality, and the Supernote again a little bit more complex, but it doesn't do a whole lot more than the Remarkable does, a little but not a lot. And lastly, the choice to go for the Boox device allows you everywhere you could possibly think to read online, but is going to mean that you're going to have to do things like go into the file structure once you've downloaded a PDF, find it, open it through here and read it in your library. Whereas download something, a PDF to this, and it will appear here on the library and you will be able to find it through search. Although I'm not really vastly impressed by this kind of search function here, or giving you access to the actual storage on the device would be something that they could certainly do. But the impact on your reading life is going to be quite strong with either the Kindle or the Boox, beside just annotating on PDFs that you can do on the Remarkable or the Supernote. The Kindle Scribe is going to allow you to read in a new type of way on the Kindle platform. Because you can, as you are reading, you can make those handwritten notes. It's fabulous. And that reading can link through to a smaller Kindle that you might have, or to a Kindle app on your phone, or even on the desktop. Not that those notes are yet being pulled through to the other Kindle apps and devices. So you can open up a new and deep library of reading, and that's why I bought a Kindle Paperwhite and got back into Kindle after a long period of time. I had a very early Kindle Paperwhite and enjoyed it for some time, but this has got me back into the actual physical act of reading, as opposed to what I was doing really, which is only consuming books in Audible format. And this is what I wanted it to do, and it's been massively successful for that. I read a different thing here on the Paperwhite than I do on my Scribe. I read differently on my phone. I'm far more likely to open a book and enjoy it for half an hour using the popular highlights function on my phone, for instance, than I am on the Kindle. And the Kindle, I've decided I really want to read something, and therefore I sit down and I use the annotations function and I really enjoy reading. For instance, I'm on this one at the minute. And lastly, I'm listening to things on my phone, on Audible, in the car. In future videos, I think I'm going to explore some different libraries and give you my recommendation really, because I'm quite impressed by the choice here on Scribed and Readly, for instance. Especially the link with audiobooks on Scribed might be an interesting thing for me to have a little look. And a question like, can I replace Kindle Unlimited and Audible through Scribed, will be an interesting question to ask. And the thing that makes me lean towards the Boox platform for reading is when I do need to go ahead and download something from Ofsted about what they've said about science, for instance, or when I do need to do a bit of research for my job at school, then I can do that directly here on the Boox platform, and that is going to be an absolute benefit. I know when I want to read a type of research, I'd rather do that on Boox platform, and I know that I can do the other types of reading that I've mentioned in this video on the Boox platform as well. So it is the most versatile of the reading platforms. And so the impact for you of those other types of libraries, subscriptions, apps, web articles, the list can just go on. And it's Boox, which is the true plural reading platform right now. So I hope that was helpful in you making the choice of what's going to be the best e-ink reader for you. If you look on eWritable, then I've actually taken my recommendations and my scores across a whole range of different use cases and professional behaviours, and you can analyse them using charts as well. So thank you very much to eWritable for doing that for us. And of course, I've got lots of other content on my channel comparing these tablets and more to help you make a confident decision in the type of e-ink tablet that you want to buy. And you won't regret it if you make that decision. Buy the smallest or buy the biggest. I can promise you, as long as you convince yourself that this will fit into your workflow, you will enjoy using them and you will find they transform your life at work.